Welcome to the Sexy Freedom Media Podcast, a place to discuss pain, passion, and pursuits.
Let's get it. I want to feel alive.
Breathe.
Make some moves.
Protect the throne. This is Sexy Freedom Media Podcast.
I just feel like March is just a month to celebrate women. What do you think, Helen?
Absolutely, but I think every day is a day to celebrate women, and I know you agree with that too. But I just had a da-da-da-da in there. One of the cool things is that about International Women's Day is it brings to light that all of us get the opportunity to be. It's almost like this, hey, women, be mindful and actually be aware and open up a little bit more to the women around you. And I think that's a really beautiful thing about certain months and certain highlights of important subjects, such as Women's International Day.
Yes, and I was having this conversation actually a few weeks ago, and it wasn't because it was International Women's Day. It was just that, we were women and we had something, that we wanted to share in common. And our conversation started about how, back then, women were in the homes, right? Women were cooking and cleaning and really kind of seen as kind of like the lesser of the gender, right? That's like the 50s, the 60s, and that was just our role, right? Back then. I guess we could go further down, women were just, there to give birth to kids, and there wasn't really anything. I mean, I think even till this day, there's like a men's group that just meets together, and there's a female group, but the females are usually in the kitchen. I think that's kind of fascinating that we're always in the kitchen. So, so we started with like the history of us women and how we started. And, God bless your mom. I'm thinking about your mom. Your mom was a force to be reckoned with. I mean, I wish I met her in person, but she really, exerted or expressed the energy of like what it is to be a female. And anyway, I just wanted to honor your mom today and just say, how great she was. So,
Hey, thanks so much for acknowledging her. For many people, my mother passed away 2 months ago from terminal pancreatic cancer, and I just actually wrapped up a 3-part series on grief and loss about that. And you're right, she was a woman, a very fiery woman. She was a feminist and a very powerful voice for ethnic women, women of minority. And she, abuse, domestic abuse, suicide awareness, just because of all of the things that she went through in her life. And she was very protective of us as girls. She had 4 daughters and 1 son. And from a young age, I remember her just saying, if a man can do it, we can do it. We don't need a man. There was a lot of we don't need a man. And it got very much blueprinted in my mind. And obviously I grew up and I learned how to have a little bit more balance with that because, there is a beautiful balance to having a man in our life, whether he's a father, a brother, a friend, a partner. That male energy's a beautiful thing too. But my mom at the time, you got to remember our parents and then their parents and then their parents, like you said, grew up in a different era. And I think a part of the Women's Month is a great time to reflect on that. Like how you were saying, women were expected to be in the kitchen. They were expected to stay home and take care of the kids. And that mentality rolled in through the years and years and years and passed on. And now today, we have so many different types of grit on where we should be as women. I can be here, I can be there. There's this video that went circulating about Kim Kardashian saying to women, get up and work. And, it got so much backlash, and rightfully so. I mean, we all come from a different background and journey. And it's not for any of us to say, get your ass up and work and don't be lazy, because there's women out there who are taking care of the kids, and that's work. There's women in the kitchen, and that's work. And an empire of funds doesn't necessarily mean that's the definition of success for everybody. And that because you don't have that, you don't have work. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there because I was looking that up this morning.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, prior to me, getting back in the work field, the workforce, I did feel, okay, so as a mom, I did feel like people saw me as, oh, you're just a mom. Oh, you're just, a stay-at-home mom. Oh, and I felt that. I felt that energy. I felt that vibe about me, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it, and I didn't like it because it's hard work. It really is hard work to be a mom, and so and there are single moms out there that are doing dual job. Okay, so and then of course there's the military mom, which I was during that time, and we were doing both jobs, being mom and being dad, and so I think stay-at-home moms, get kind of a stigma attached to us that like, oh, you're just a stay-at-home mom, and that irked me so much because it's such hard work to be a stay-at-home mom. Because it's one thing like you go to work and I'm not putting down anything, okay, so please don't get offended, but for women who do go to work, because I go to work as well, right? So for women who do go to work, it's like 9 to 5, right? And then after that, actually, no. And then after that, they have to be still moms. So that mom job is 24 hours a day. So the moms in general don't get a break. They don't get a break. So those women who are in the workforce and they work that 9 to 5, I commend you, because that is hard work, coming home and trying to there's all these things that we all have to juggle, right? It's like, are you eating healthy? Are you drinking enough water? Are you taking your vitamins? Are you putting the right ingredients into our hair, into our mouth? It's there's all these layers of things that we're thinking about on top of being a mom. So it isn't just a stay-at-home mom, because a mom that stays home manages so much more than just the kids, but all the functionalities of home and all that. And I feel like, the female energy is, I feel like we don't truly understand the power of the female energy. I think we're now just tapping into it. And I was chatting with a friend of mine and I was saying, wow, I feel like, before us women were kind of put into the corner, don't put baby in the corner. I felt baby was in the corner, women were in the corner, and now we're like, nope, we're not going to be in the corner no more. I feel like women are putting on their crowns. They're knowing we are women and we're here and we're powerful beyond, what we can imagine. But I don't think we've touched our true potential just yet.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on a lot of that. Just how you were saying there's a lot more that we have yet to discover about the feminine energy as a collective. But, taking it down a notch, I think that it begins with us individually finding that within ourselves and that exploration, that journey. I know for myself, after my mom passed, I realized how much I wanted to slow down and how much I wanted to stop comparing. And we all preach and teach about stop comparing, everybody's wanting to say, some type of wisdom thing now. And that's great. We need more of it. But I realized when I stepped back that I needed to spend more time listening instead of talking so much. And that is very powerful, whether you're a man or woman, but specifically since we're talking about feminine energy and allowing feminine energy to really come alive within us for other other females or other women who identify or trans or queers, or anybody who identifies as a woman or even a man who has feminine energy. This goes out to anybody who is trying to explore feminine energy. Allow it to come alive within you, to grow, to speak to you. And the only way you're going to get the message that feminine energy really has to give you on a daily basis is to quiet yourself and listen. And that was really big for me. That's been something new for me recently. And I really feel like that was the gift that my mom passed to me as she, left.
Wow. I love that you said we should listen. I think a lot of the times we are bombarded with a lot of different messages, whether it be, through social media or our own peers or whatever. And we are bombarded. You're right. We're bombarded with a lot of different ideologies and, uh, different ways of thinking about what it really means to be, female, feminine, a woman, and I like the fact that, we should be listening to really what our heart is telling us. I like, the other thing that you mentioned a while back, you said something about how we should respect the masculine energy as well, the male energy, that there should be a balance. And I like that you said that, because that was the other conversation piece that my girlfriend and I were talking about. Happy birthday to her, by the way. Happy birthday, Charmaine. And it's because of her. She inspired me to talk about the female energy. But we were talking about how this notion of being that woman, hear me roar, being that female, like forced to be reckoned with kind of energy. I feel sometimes there's this shift. Okay, so there's this shift. Before, the males were like up here, right? And they're in this, I feel this is my observation, okay? They're up here, but now the females are like, well, no, I want to get up there. And like, so there's this shift where female energy is like really emanating right now. That's really what I feel. It's emanating right now. But the masculine side is kind of like, teeter-tottering, right? And I feel like there should be a balance. There should be some kind of a yin and a yang, because there is a way for us to work together in harmony, but there is the power struggle. And I feel like that's kind of where we are right now with the female energy, is that yes, we should be proud of who we are as females and as women, but we should also honor the fact that there is that masculine energy, and we do need that. We need that. And well, I need that. I mean, I don't know. I know there's different people that need the, different energies, but I feel like energy in it of itself, the different energy, positive energy is definitely needed, and so I don't know. I feel like we are, as women, we're evolving, whether it be like you said, a transgender woman, a woman, a man who feels like she's a woman, there's all sorts of different female energy. And I honor that. I respect that. And, that's why I said we're evolving. We're evolving. And now it's like this balance is like going this way.
Yes, absolutely. So let me ask you, let's just bring our world from everything out there to honing it in to you and I quickly. And let me ask you, and this is nothing in comparison to any other woman or anybody else who feels feminine energy. What does January feel that feminine energy is for her?
That's a good question. So when I was pregnant with Nina and I found out I was having a girl, I was actually really nervous. So I was really nervous, and I felt this pressure on my shoulders, like, I've been a mom to a boy, all this time. And to me, exuding that masculine energy. Because one, I'm short. Okay, so I'm short. I feel like I need to prove myself. So that masculine energy to me was really vital. And I felt the need to, like I said, prove myself. But then when I was pregnant with her, I was afraid actually. I'm like, what the heck does that mean now? What does it mean to be a mom to a girl? And holy crap, do I need to be more feminine? Like, what does it mean? So the female energy to me now, now that I have my daughter, because I feel like I have to be an example to her. Okay, so as an example to her, there's several different layers, right? And that layer includes the masculine energy. So I need to show her, or it felt important to show her that you should feel like you could do anything. You can do anything you possibly can. There's nothing that is stopping you. You're a girl, but that doesn't mean you can't do what boys can do. But I also felt the need to show her the feminine side, the softer side. So I started accessorizing. I started being mindful of how I dress, and I feel it's important, as a female, to really be attuned, to what for me as a woman gives me joy. And I'm going to tell you, shopping gives me joy, spas give me joy, accessorizing and fashion give me joy. So, but I really did need to hone in on that, because as a mom to a boy, I was all about, being rough, jumping, going into nature and having fun, being dirty in the mud. Like I was all about that, but now to a girl, I'm like, oh, well, let me show my feminine side. And it was okay to show that feminine side. So to me, being that female energy is a mixture of the two. It's a mixture of both the masculine and the feminine side. Now, my question to you, Helen, is, because I know you're a boy, you're a mom to a boy, to a son, a young gentleman, and thank you for his service, by the way. I appreciate him, and I'm glad he's safe, and I'm praying that he remains safe. Now, to a mom to a boy, how do you exude that female energy?
Yeah, that's a great question. And before I answer that, thank you for sharing a part of your world, a part of your story with your daughter and son. That's a beautiful thing. Yeah, so my son, my son is 21. I always forget, and it's horrible. It's just because, well, my memory's bad. Let's just face it, okay? I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. It's real bad. He's amazing. He's a Virgo like me, so we have a lot in common. And feminine energy is something I didn't say, hey, when I was a kid, or when he was a kid, I wasn't like, hey, this is feminine energy and this is masculine energy, I pretty much taught him more about spirit, and spirit having, a mixture of different energies, because it's what is whole for all of these energies, basically like a big ball of energy that gives certain energies at certain times. That's the best way I can give a visualization to how I taught him. And it was important for me to teach him about nurturing and being a person with compassion. Very, very important. I felt compassion is a big part of the feminine energy, a big part of how you treat humans in general, how you view humans, how you can absorb other energies with compassion. Kind of like let compassion be the filter before making judgment, because face it, everybody judges. Everybody. We all do it. And I don't sugarcoat things with my son. I don't try to make things sound like, the world's a great and happy place, because it's not. There's a lot of evil in this world. There's a lot of predators. So your energy is the most valuable possession you have. And using the balance of the masculine and feminine within you can be very powerful on how you get around in this world, how you navigate life. And that's the strength of your relationship. So it was a lot of, hey, he was calling me, asking me advice on how to date, and I'd say, whoa, red flag, because he'd tell me about a date that he'd gone on with a girl, and I'd say, oh my gosh, she sounds exactly like me when I was her age. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's not good. It's not good. And I'm saying that because I knew exactly how I was at that age. And I was not standing in my power at that time. I was standing in shit. I was growing awkwardly sideways, but I was still growing up because I was remaining open. So I would tell him, as far as energy goes, protect your energy, and, just be mindful of who's in your circle, who's coming in contact with you. And kindness, yes, always try to be kind first, but we come from a lineage of warriors. You are a warrior, and I know I talk a lot about that, the warrior spirit. So I won't say that I use any type of word of feminine energy or masculine energy with my son. Probably now I do, but it's really vague. I'm a storyteller with him. The way we talk is within stories, like, okay, now this is what happened. So I think if you have boys, or if you have, partners, or anybody in your circle, in your realm, who is not really into words like feminine or masculine energy, there's other words that are extensions of those meanings, which is compassion, nurturing, kindness, things like that. So yeah, thank you. That was a great question.
Oh my gosh, I love that you explained it in that way, because it's true. For the feminine energy, it's definitely seen as compassion and nurturing and loving and kind. And I love that we can alternate those words instead of using the female energy. So thank you for sharing that. And love that you shared about stories. The stories are definitely how, even in business, stories are really how people can relate. And so I think storytelling is definitely very important. And I think it's especially true for the Native American culture, is that it is like through storytelling, even through like a lot of indigenous cultures, it is really through storytelling.
Yeah, and just since you brought that up, a lot of backgrounds, many cultures were stories passed down, from grandmothers and grandfathers and great-greats that were passed down. And, Irish did it, Norwegians, so many different cultures, Latinos, Hispanics. The cultures are very important. And I think, like you already know this as well, I'm a big advocate of knowing your cultures. And, if you weren't raised in the culture, it doesn't mean if you have a bloodline connected with that, there's a story that's been passed down on how you got here today. And one of the things, since we are talking about the feminine energy and Women's International Day, to bring it kind of circling back, when I did my women's retreats, I was a leader for quite a few women's retreats. And one of the things I really loved to bring to the circles was the stories of our elder generation teaching the younger generations. For instance, women in some cultures would circle around women and share the stories of, okay, you started your menstrual. This is what we did, and this is what you can do. So they weren't like, oh my God, what do I do? And I do hear stories in our generations and the generation before me of, women that I've come across who said, when I started my menstrual, my mom didn't tell me anything, or, there was shame around it, or there was, women who were raised by their fathers, and their fathers didn't really know what to do. And, there's no right or wrong in this situation. It's just, you have an opportunity as a woman to change the storyline with your future seeds, your future generations. There's young girls out there who want to know what's going on with my body, what's going on with my hormones. My mother taught me about hormones at a very young age. I didn't understand the word hormone because that's all she kept saying was hormones. She wasn't like, okay, the definition of hormones, my mind was too young to grasp it at the time. But as I got older, I was starting to connect the dots like, oh, this is what mom meant. Oh, this is what mom meant. And it's kind of like I had this knowing already, where when I came across women at the retreat, so many women didn't understand their own hormones. They didn't get the stories passed down of relationships, of, and this is really big. I think when women think of Women's Month or Women International, we think about the suffering of the women before us. And part of the suffering is still with us. And that suffering is where women are losing connection with themselves and with each other, because we're so busy comparing. We're so busy telling our story as if our story's greater than thou. And it's not. And this is where I'm saying we need to bring the practice of the art of listening back to our circle. So that way we can listen to somebody's story and not judge it or compare right away, but instead say, wow, that's an interesting story. Like, that's your journey. That's not mine,
Yeah, man, you touched on a lot of different things. So back to the storytelling and the culture. There is a new movie out there called Turning Red. That's a Disney Plus story, and I resonated so much with that story. I felt like I was like crying and laughing all at the same time. I mean, it's a very Asian, it's an Asian perspective, and so I think for those of us Asian women that do watch this, it's a story about a relationship with our moms. It's a mom and daughter relationship, and anyway, so it's definitely through storytelling, and I agree with you that as women, a lot of us are comparing. We're comparing our bodies, our skin, our hair, the way that we dress, like, and I feel like society has kind of put an image in front of our faces of what it means to be beautiful. I'm gonna say there's another song, and I love this song. My son was actually in the music video. It's called I Think You're Beautiful by Kalohe Kai. And that, oh my gosh, if you ever listen to it, Helen, I don't know if you've listened to it yet, but it really speaks to women and how, like, because I feel like there's cyberbullying right now. I know my sister, got affected with cyberbullying, and especially this day and age, there's Instagram, there's social, Facebook, and so easy to be a bully, behind the screens and bully to another female, so there's that crab mentality, and I'm not really sure why us women can have that crab mentality and that competitiveness, towards each other, instead of celebrating, our wins with each other and celebrating, because eventually one time it's going to be our turn. It's just right now it's our sister's turn, but for some reason there's this like crab mentality, and I think if we were to listen, that's the word of the day, is really to listen, listen and really hear ourselves. I think that was the one thing too, because I know, Helen, earlier you said you didn't want your son to be dating this chick because she reminded you of you, and you're right. Like, back then, we had no idea and no clue who we were. I didn't, I had no idea, and I think I was still trying to navigate and really try to find me, and who I am, and really stand in my power. Because I think back then I was so lost. I was lost in terms of wanting to please so many different people and so many different, like I wanted people to see me in a certain way, and I don't know. I think I'm still learning, and I think I'm still going to continuously learn about what it is to be January, what it is to be feminine, and it is through storytelling, it's through dialogue, that we are able to appreciate, who we are as a person, and what our brothers and sisters have to offer. Because I think right now, there's so much talk of negativity, and while I understand that the world is negative, and I understand, or can be negative, and there's a lot of bad stuff, Sam, my husband, is inundated every day with bad stuff. Like, he gets emails from things that we won't, so I think I'm that balance for him. So in this relationship with he and I am that balance of positivity. And I think, as I reflect on um, on life, we need that rain. Excuse me. We need that rain, in order to have the rainbow. We can't just all have rainbows, unfortunately, and we have to go through those many different struggles and those different circumstances. But I think as women, we have the responsibility, okay, because each of us has a role, right? Male has a role, female has a role. And I feel like as women, we have that role to be that compassionate, that kind, that positive energy that we can be. Not to say that men aren't, because they can be, but I feel as women, I feel like God has just placed this thing within us, this responsibility within us, to just share with everyone. So that's my 2 cents.
I love your 2 cents. Let's multiply that. No, that's awesome. As you were talking, I was listening to, mentioning your husband and how you're the balance to that. And that's really cool that you acknowledge that within yourself, because sometimes we get in a relationship and all of a sudden it's like, I want to control me and you. And then the balance is like, crash. So, I'm going to say this is interesting because it's like we're flowing in this direction of honor. And honor is something that I was raised and instilled with, but I didn't have honor. Like, I was rebellious to it. I was like, screw honor, like, who cares, And my free spirit kind of flocked a different way than all my siblings, whereas they, got in relationships, and then all 3 of them have been married almost, 16, 20 plus years. And here I am, like, I'm barely coming around. But honor for me, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but I'm going to share it. I wrote a book called Nothing Sexier Than Freedom. It's a best-selling book on Amazon. And I'm in the process of doing the audiobook reviewing of my narrator right now. So it's going to be on Audible soon. So here's the crazy part. I wrote that book over 5 years, and I wrote it in my 30s. So now I'm reflecting, like, I'm rereading my story in the past. And I was Miss Wild Thing. Like, I mean, sex addict, notorious cheater. My beliefs were all over the place. But through the book, I'm seeing this evolution of myself. And the person I am today, I mean, committed, loving, that feminine energies definitely definitely has risen in my life. That both that masculine and feminine energy, very, very powerful in my life now. But I thought it was super powerful back then also, as I'm, playing games and stuff. So I sometimes wonder, was I wrong, or was I just in a different world then? And now when I kind of reflect back on it, I'm like, the thing is that, again, going back to the releasing of judgment and comparison, I was in a different, first of all, I was in a different age. My hormones were at a different level. My relationships were different. There was a different world I was living in. It's literally like a different woman. And I've got to treat her the same way I treat all women now. It's like, stop comparing. You don't need to compare yourself to your younger self. I mean, there's things that have happened. I've lost my father. I lost my brother. Like, grief changes you alone in a different way. So my sister Kathy would say, grace. Grace is probably, it's, thank God for grace, right? So that way we can just start over and restructure, reframe, recreate, or just start over this whole different person, right?
I think looking back, right? Because I love that you were rereading your book. We were totally different from a year ago. I can only imagine 5 years ago, 10 years ago, completely different people. And I'm glad you caught yourself and you said, no, I'm not going to compare myself, because all those experiences made you to be who you are today. And I wouldn't change it for a thing. I think those moments and that chapter in your life was meant to be. It was just a journey of our life. Just like me. I made a lot of mistakes. I said a lot of bad things. Some things I don't care to mention, but those things, those circumstances and experiences really do help create who I am, and honor myself too, and the struggles and things that I went through. And would I change it? No. I think the only thing I would change is when I was younger, I thought I was fat, and I look at my picture, I'm like, why did I think I was fat? Why did I even think that way? But likewise, as I get older, and I'm going to see my body, my shape, because this is just a shell, right? This is just a shell. Really, it's your innards, it's your soul that makes who we are, and I think you're beautiful just the way you are, and every part of that experience, whether it be, the shitty things that you went through to like the most radiant things that you went through, they are all combination of Helen, and that's why we're doing this podcast, because of all the things that we've learned and have shaped us. But I will say this: I was lost. I was lost back then, and I'm still continuing to reflect and really learn who I am. And that's part of the reason why I do these podcasts, because there's so much I like to learn from other people. And Helen, you are just, again, you're just a pillar of wisdom and strength. Because I've seen you go through grief, and I've seen a portion of it, not all of it, right? And that grief does change you, like you mentioned. It allows you to see life in such a different perspective. And that's all energy, whether it be female or masculine. There's it's energy. Like your mom has passed, and that's an energy that is not on this realm right now, but it's definitely something that has like grown you. It's something that has grown you, and whether it be her daughter or just as a woman, I think it's going to continue to shape you throughout this process of grief, and I'm thankful. I'm so thankful today that we get to do this, Helen. This was the time. This was the right time. I feel, and it's International Women's Day. I mean, how amazing is that we get to reconnect during such a time as this? Where we can really honor and respect, the woman energy, female energy, and I'm so excited.
Yeah, let me ask you this, just to give everybody who's watching us now, hello everybody, and everybody who's going to be listening later on when it goes on audio in our YouTube channel. What are you doing? I mean, as far as action goes for yourself right now in your life to ignite your feminine and masculine energy?
Helen, you have the greatest questions. Let me say that. And whenever you do have that retreat, I'm excited to go. So we'll keep everyone posted when that retreat is going to happen. But what do I do to ignite that female energy? Oh my goodness. For me, I think females are very much attuned to our skincare, the way that we present ourselves, I think we're, at least for me, what I feel like what it means to be a woman is that we do like to look nice. We like to, express ourselves in a way that's soft, that's gentle, that's, uh, but there's another side, right? There's that fiery side. There's that, I can kick your ass if I wanted to side. So I have that side as well. So, that my softer feminine side, I do like to dress up nice. I like fashion, but my tough side, like I really do like riding motorcycles. I ride with my husband. I love guns. We just went to a gun show. I what else? I mean, I love roughhousing with my son and my daughter. My daughter is she's small, but she can like pack a punch. Like she's a tough little girl. So yeah, so that's what it means for me to exude or to show that feminine energy of mine. And I'm gonna tell you, there's a song, and I know it's P, the power of the P. I think that's the name of the song. Do you know that song, Helen? It's a not a very good song to say, but it's the power of the P, okay? And it really is. I think us women have
Are you saying the power of pussy? Is that what it
the
is?
power of the pussy. The power of the pussy. Do you know that song?
The P. What are we talking about? I haven't heard the song, but I really want to listen to it now. Is it on Spotify?
I'm pretty sure it's on Spotify, but it's a good song, and that song really shows, like, I think as us women, we really do have a power. I mean, we do. We have a power, and I don't think we've really tapped into that power just yet. And good song. So just listen to that song. My husband introduced me to that song, but I liked it because I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. We do have power. So that is my answer to that question. Long drawn out answer. I apologize. What do you do, Helen? I know you do a lot, but I want you to share with us and our audience, what do you do to show your feminine energy?
Well, thanks for answering the question for me. That was fun listening to your. I was like, okay, when you were talking about like guns and motorcycle, all these things, I was like, come out to Wyoming. We need to hang out, stat, okay? Yeah. So, as my mom passed 2 months ago, just to give everybody a slight backstory, for 4 months prior to that, my sisters and I were her caregivers for in-home hospice. And everything with the business, and hence why our podcasts, we're excited to see each other, because we put it on hold for a while. And my focus was just to take care of my mom and to help with my family. And I gave up everything, left Wyoming, left my business side, and just went. And when you're full-time taking care of somebody else, you're finding bits and pieces of yourself where you do get your time. It's almost like you've got to take care of yourself as alongside of taking care of others. So I started losing a large part of myself, my feminine energy. My masculine energy came full in force, thank God, because I needed that. I needed my masculine energy at the time, because I was drowning, watching my mom slowly deteriorate and trying to keep my family together and strong during that time. So I worked out. That was my mental strength. Working out is life for me. It's always been life. I don't really look at it as like working out. I just like look at it like you're going in to train. You're going in to train your mind, body, and spirit. So that was my masculine side. My feminine side during that whole time was more about singing with my mom, reminding her of songs that we sang as a kid, singing with my sisters, try not to get choked up. Then when mom passed, I remember telling my sisters, like, am I gonna find myself again? Like, I feel like I'm not me. And to be honest, everybody, like, it was really scary because I was so powerful and prideful of my queendom, of who I was, who I am. I was a very, very strong woman. And the grief of my mother really shook me. Losing my mother really shook me. But I knew that was okay to not be okay. And I allowed myself to feel that. And that in itself was my feminine energy. saying, it's okay to feel, it's okay to cry, it's okay to be vulnerable, it's okay to be weak. And just admitting that right now is very powerful for me. So yeah. So, okay, let me draw it together. I'm about to do full circle here. Now, 2 months later, Helen is starting to get her groove back. I'm starting to go out. I'm starting to dance more, and I'm learning, and I've embraced through sadness, I could still love myself. So,
Well, I love you, Helen, and I appreciate you being so vulnerable. You know, 'cause that was a tough time, but you know, from the outside looking in, okay, because I've seen everything, you know, and we've talked, you know, and um, you did carry yourself really well, and I think it's great that you can acknowledge to, you know, be okay to not be okay. I actually have a shirt that says that it's okay to not be okay, because I think sometimes as women, I think first, at least for me, I know I've kind of not put myself down, but like I've seen myself as like, oh, why are you crying? Stop crying, you know? And I'm like, wait, but I can cry if I want to cry. Crying is actually really good to release, you know, everything, all that energy and thing that's like bothering you inside. Oh, I know about that crying. So I think it's great. It's great that you're releasing that, Helen. Part of the female energy, you know, it's released. So and it gives us women the ability to accept us for everything of who we are, the good, the bad, the ugly, you know, and yeah, it's wonderful. So Helen, one more question for you before, you know, we move forward. Because grief, and I know that this isn't really a part of the female energy, but it's important to talk about. Because I know even in your grief, you still showed joy, even though you were grieving. Now, let me ask you, why was it important for you to still show that joy and but, you know, to still have that balance, right? So why did you find it important?
wow, that's a really good question. And I think you might be asking this because of all the videos I made. I know I started doing videos during the process of her terminal cancer. And I did it really just to bring the joy to her because she was, like I said, deteriorating every day. And some days she couldn't go outside. So it was more bringing this production, you know, inside. I was like, let's dance. So I made a ton of TikTok videos and I did a lot of editing with them. And a lot of it was dancing and singing with her, like I mentioned before. One of the videos went viral, 1.3 million views, thousands of shares. You know, I wasn't really doing anything for myself, but more for my mom, you know, and that was part of me bringing the joy to her. And also to my sisters, you know, because this wasn't our first rodeo. It was just a different rodeo. And I know that for me, my truth with grief was that I'm still alive and I can't stop living, you know, because that's already going to happen to my mom. And she's the one who told me, you can't stop living. You've got to find some joy in the day. Because she was finding joy. She was happy every day she woke up. She was like, what are we doing today? You know, even though we can go outside, she was like, what am I eating today? What am I this today? Throw on some music, do something, you know? And it was important for me also to do dance videos with my sisters during that time because, like I said, you start getting depleted when you are taking care of somebody else, that you've got to take care of yourself. You've got to take care of yourself because here's my truth again. You're basically living in a moving art, okay? And for me, to paint and to create art is using all of the colors that are in the Crayola box, okay? And that also means dark gray, black, gray, white, fuchsia, turquoise, even mixing the colors together, whatever those colors mean for you. And an example of those colors are sad, joy, happy, crying, laughter. So, and it really depends on the people you're around too. Some people find it really disrespectful when you're going through grief and people are laughing around you. My mom, going through her terminal cancer, was laughing all the time, making jokes about it. And at first we were like, what? But then, like I like to tell people, and I've said in my podcast, and I've said it to many people, she not only was the teacher in life, but also the teacher in death. So she showed us how to be strong. She showed us how to laugh. She showed us how to keep living, keep doing. And that, my friends, is a woman of power, a woman of strength, a woman who knows who she is. She don't care about what's going on social media. She don't care what's going on with her next door neighbor's gossip and drama. She don't care what's going on with her family no more. She cares about what's going on in front of her in that moment, which was dancing, laughter, and the love that was surrounding her. And that is a queen with mighty feminine and masculine energy.
Hold on. Where's my mic? Drop. Yes. See, this is why I wanted us to talk about this, because I saw your mom and I'm like, oh my gosh, your mom is amazing. So I am so thankful. I'm so thankful for you. I'm thankful for your mom, your sisters too. I really enjoyed watching you folks, with your dances and all of the videos. I mean, I cried. I know why that went viral. So, so if you haven't, everyone who's watching, if you haven't watched it, go to Helen's TikTok, Hell of a Journey. I think that's what it is on TikTok, right, Helen?
The Hell of a Journey one actually got taken down.
Oh no!
Oh, no. It's Hell of a Journey with the number 1. So HELOFA Journey. But January, I really appreciate you. I follow your journey as well. And that's the cool thing about social media, is that we can see our sisters and brothers out there living their life. And I really enjoy pages that not just have tons of positive quotes. I'm a person about I want to see your life. Don't just tell me about what you know. I want to see what you show. And you have a mixture of everything that tells me you're very well-rounded, down to earth, up in the sky also, but you're very authentic. And authenticity is very important as far as what I allow coming into my circle. And when we met, I can't remember exactly how we met, but I think you reached out to me. I can't remember. But now you're the co-host of Sexy Freedom Media podcast, and you've done a phenomenal job. You've remained authentic. You've remained such good spirit, such great feminine and masculine energy, since I'm just going to blurt those words out since we're talking about it. But you're a beautiful human. You're a beautiful human being. So thank you for being a part of this show.
I love that we can be examples for our sisters too, is that, we can support each other. And, you're right. We have not met each other face to face. This is our face to face right here on Zoom. So I am really looking forward to the time that I actually see you in person. We met because we're a part of Women's Helping Women Entrepreneur Group. And I saw your picture. I'm like, oh, well, I need to know who this woman is because she seems amazing. And just like yourself, I really do surround myself with women who are authentic, who are kind, compassionate, who are smart. You are an intelligent woman, Helen, and everything about you. Hold on. Right. Okay. I just love everything about you. A conversation, you just being raw. You are just one raw, I am Helen in all sense. I'm Queen Helen at that. And I love you. And I'm looking forward for your retreat again, the women's retreat. I know that it's going to be postponed, but we will follow up with that because I think that's important. I think it's important for us women to really do come together. I mean, since we are talking about the female energy, I want us women to come together to really empower each other and inspire and support, really support each other. I'm excited to talk to this one woman, and I haven't met her, but I'm excited to talk with her. Her daughter had committed suicide at a young age, and really excited to get to know her and just kind of, learn about her experiences as well. And stories like we were talking about earlier, those are important. Those are vital. It's vital for us to grow, grow as a person, grow as a human race, I feel. And we get to relate, to another human being. And I think it's vital. And I think it's vital to get out of our comfort zones. I think we're so, some of us can be very cliquey. I'm going to say that. Okay, so some women can be very cliquey and just stick to their group, but there's so many amazing women out there, that can actually give you more and give you value more and allow you to grow in such a different way, So I encourage every woman out there to make a new friend. I mean, I love making new friends because I get to learn, their perspective and their point of view and their eyes, and that just gives me so much joy. It really does. It gives me joy to get to know you, Helen, and excited to know more women. So
yeah, I'm glad you said that. Actually, I don't know how much time we've been on here, but okay, so a few more minutes here. I'm gonna say something about that, this whole cliquey thing you just mentioned, and it's safe. It's safe and it's comfortable to stay in your clique or your tribe. Totally fine. If you feel like you'd rather stay with that and stay safe like that, top off to you. It's okay. But what I have learned through traveling and making friendships in all different parts of my journey is that you lose some, you gain some, okay? And going back to my mom again, because she was my greatest teacher, is that during her final days, her friends came to her. They came to be by her side. But I'm going to tell you, the ones I thought were going to be by her side the most were not. The ones that I least expected did show up more. And you don't realize the impact you make on certain people. You don't realize who's going to be there during your hardest moments. So what I started noticing is that the people that were showing up more, they had the authenticity to them of a nurturing, caring person. They were a person of service. And that's something that was not 100% showing in the people that were not showing up the most. So it made me start to, it doesn't mean I got to give up all my friends who are not people of service or nurturers. It just made me realize I need to water the relationships in my circle that are the people who are nurturers, the people that are givers, the people that are genuinely people that want to serve others. I mean, don't they deserve it anyways? They're people who are out there giving so much of themselves in their heart. And I realize I need to turn around and give more back to them as well. So,
oh my goodness. I love that, Helen. You're right. I mean, that is exactly what I see, in my circle of friends too. There are a lot of givers, a lot of selfless type of people. And I love that you said, nurture the ones that are in your circle. You're absolutely right. Nurture the ones that are in your circle that do provide that. And that's a great tip for all of us. So thank you so much, Helen. I know we've been talking quite some time.
I know. Everybody's like, okay, I'm ready to go eat now. Or maybe that's just me.
No, I think that's me too. It's okay. I got it.
Now my stomach's grumbling and stuff. Oh, I just got the cue. My boyfriend's like, you ready to eat?
It's time. Let's go. It's time to eat.
Okay. All right, let's wrap this up, everybody.
All
Everybody,
right.
like they're the ones holding us.
I know. Like, sorry. Ladies, we have not seen each other, and gentlemen, we have not seen each other for quite some time, so we had a lot to share. So
Yes.
typically our shows are about an hour long. We went out a little bit longer this time, but it's all good. It's all good. So thank you all for watching. I appreciate you. Those who are here on Facebook live over here, thank you so much. I saw some of your comments. I'm sorry. I will respond when I get a chance.
Yes,
And
me too.
Helen, I love this. Thank you so much. I can't wait for our next podcast together. So looking forward to that.
Thanks so much, and thank you everybody for watching. Please subscribe, check out our channel. We'll leave the link in the comments, and we really appreciate you. So if you enjoyed this or you enjoyed any of our podcasts, please leave us a review on our Facebook page, Sexy Freedom Media, or go on to iTunes and leave us a review there. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much.
Aloha.
Want to hear more?
Visit us at SexyFreedomMedia.com.